Hi everyone. So welcome to the stream today. Really excited for having you once again on our stream as we really plan ourselves out and look at the things that we need to consider to position ourselves to ultimately pass the examination. And in case you are not aware, we are in the third session in our discussion towards the July 2023 ICA examination, and it's been an interesting journey so far. I mean, the third week is ending today, and we are going to start with the fourth week from Monday. And technically, what it means then is that we have about 8 weeks to go for us to actually be able to be ready for the examination. And if you are preparing to write the exams, then it is important you put yourself in the spot and study hard to be able to pass the examination. I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome. Give us a thumbs up on the video, share the video. Let's reach as many students as possible. But most importantly, let me hear from you in the comment section. Any questions you have for me, something that you would want me to share my thought on, I will really be glad to share my thought with you and provide you with some assistance so you can really prepare for your examination and pass the examination. On the stream today, I want to be answering a couple of questions that you are having and also be able to provide you with some strategies on how you can study and position yourself to really pass the examination and become successful. Now, in case you are not aware, the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana is preparing for a revision or to revise the current syllabus at the end of the day, which is at the end of this year generally. So it means that if you have something to do and you intend to really be able to do it as soon as possible, then you have July 2023 and November 2023 to really put this behind you and go in there and become successful generally at the end of the day, because it's very important. I always tell students you can actually do this in the shortest possible time to increase your chances of passing the examination, because for some of you, your life depends on this, your promotions depend on this, your improvement depend on this, and your ability to ultimately become successful actually depends on you becoming a chartered accountant and finishing with this program in record time. And for some of you also, you've been frustrated because you write the exams and you fail, you write the exams and you don't go through, and you are thinking and contemplating whether really this is something you have to do or you may have to consider something else. But in all these, one thing that you need to understand is that consistency and doing the right thing over a period of time will position you to be able to always pass the examination. So the excuses, the complaints, and everything that you will say or you will talk about will never suffice and will never take you anywhere. So it is important you understand what you have to do in order to position yourself to pass the examination. That is exactly what I intend to share with you today on the stream as we answer a couple of questions that you may be having. So if there are any questions, put it in the comment section for me or the chat box for me, and we will going to be taking all of your questions and providing you with some answers. Also consider to share the video so we can reach as many students as possible on the stream here today. Now, remember that we have some of our books still available: Ghana Tax System, Financial Management, Corporate Reporting, Volume 1 and 2, Financial Reporting, Strategic Case Study, Advanced Audit and Assurance, and Public Sector Accounting. We have all of these books available. You can actually get it on Amazon. Just search for Nhyira Premium on Amazon, or you can reach us on the number scrolling below your screen, and you will be able to order a copy, and delivery can be done nationwide for you as you actually prepare for your examination and become successful. So I'm seeing a couple of chats coming in. Let's see if I can get them real quick. So we see Johannes Zulu said, "Love you, my tutor." Thank you very much, Johannes. And then we have another one. It's like I got to take my time to pronounce this name. I'm going to try to pronounce the name a little bit. Saimao Francisco. I think that's okay. From Mozambique. Thank you, Saimao. I hope I'm able to pronounce your name well on the stream. Graham Duku said, "Good evening, sir." Good evening, Graham. Thanks for joining us on the stream today. If there are any questions, put it in the chat box for me, put it in the comment section for me. I would really love to answer your questions and provide you with some strategies in order for you to prepare well for your examination and pass the exams. Lois Fury said, live from Malawi. Thank you, Lois, for joining us on the stream today, live from Malawi. Any questions, put it in the comment section, put it in the chat for me as we look at this in that particular case. Now, on the overall, what you need to understand is that in order for you to really pass the examination and become successful, there are a couple of things that you need to take into consideration, and that is what I want to quickly share some thoughts with you on that. And also, I want you to do this for me. From Monday, we're going to be starting with our live lectures online on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So let me know in the comment section the topics you would want us to cover on the stream. So if there are any topics on your mind that you want us to cover in whatever subject it is that we want to get ourselves into, put it in the comment section for me or the chat box for me. Let me hear from you. The topics, don't give me a subject, all right? Give me a topic and then be specific as much as possible so we can put these together. And then from Monday, we're going to be taking them one after the other, discussing them on the stream, and also solving questions in order for us to prepare well for the examination and pass the exams. So, to pass the examination and become successful, there are a couple of things that I want you to take into consideration. You see, it is important you understand that, yes, it is a professional qualification examination. You know that already. I'm not the one to tell you that, but you know that already. And sometimes people give a lot of excuses. I mean, in the name of the fact that, oh, the examination is difficult. All right. The examination, no matter what you do, it is designed to make you fail. No matter what you do, the examination is designed in such a way that you cannot easily, pass the exams. Oh, when I study, I'm not able to remember. Okay, so retention of what you study is an issue, or memory to be able to recollect what you study is an issue. Now, all of these are excuses. Some you can be able to go away from them. Others, you would have to fix them generally at the end of the day. One thing you need to understand is that if you really want to become successful, then excuses cannot be something that you're going to say. So it is important you understand a couple of things, because you see, the exams that you said was difficult or is difficult, some people passed. All right? The exams that you said it was challenging, some people excel. So the question then is, what exactly are you not doing right? Because if you give excuses, oh, my job, oh, my wife, oh, my children, oh, my husband, oh, my boss, nobody gives a damn about it. Nobody cares about your wife. Nobody cares about your children. One thing you must understand is that the examination is standardized. So there is a standardized exams. And there is only one requirement that you are supposed to follow. That is to ensure that you answer or attempt the question as required. Write down what you are expected to write down generally at the end of the day. It's a standardized paper. So the examination committee doesn't sit down and say, oh, because our students are couples, because our students have children, because our students work busy, oh, let's make the examination questions flexible. There is nothing like that. So if you sit there and say, oh, my wife, oh, my husband, oh, my children, nobody gives a damn about it. It is one paper applying to everybody. So what does that mean? It means that in order for you to pass the examination and become successful, you need to get rid of the excuses. All the excuses you have, you need to get rid of them. And the way you get rid of the excuses is to be able to then change your mindset about the exams. That has to be your starting point. I cannot do this for you. Your mom cannot do this for you. Your dad cannot do this for you. Your husband cannot do this for you. Nobody can do this for you. You have to change your mindset about the examination. It is not difficult. It requires a certain technique that you must understand. That is what you need to know. You need to change your mindset about the examination. Now, some people will say, Nhyira, you know my problem? I can sit down, I study and I study and I study. I cannot remember anything. Okay. I cannot remember anything when I study. This is one of the challenges of people. Cannot remember anything. Oh, Nhyira, I'm old. And you know, I finished school 1943. And now I am trying to do this program. And when I study, it doesn't stick. Listen to me carefully. If you have an issue with not being able to remember what you study, it means you need to, number one, check out your studying style. What is your studying style? Or if you want strategy, you got to check that out. Number two, you need to identify what is your peak time. You cannot study when you are tired. You cannot study when you are emotionally drained. You cannot study when you have other things bombarding you on your mind. You cannot study when your environment is all noisy and you cannot focus. You cannot study whilst your data is on and Akosia Yakoto is sending you some useless messages that will not add value to your life. You cannot study when there is no focus. So in order for you to really remember the things that you study, you need to identify your peak time. Now, your peak time is the time when you are at your best. And you have to create it. When we say you are at your best, we mean that you are at your best emotionally. Okay? You are at your best mentally. Okay, and you are at your best even physically. That is your environment in that particular case. That is what we mean by your peak time. So you have to create it. This day and age, we are bombarded with a lot of things. So you need to create that peak time. If you pick your book and you are thinking about the girl who has left you because broken heart, and you are broke because she left you, you cannot become successful. If you pick your book and you're thinking about, oh, your husband is chasing after a lady and now you can't study, you cannot become successful. You need to be stable emotionally. You need to be stable mentally. You need to be stable physically. That is your peak time. So if you study and you cannot remember anything, it means you are not studying at your peak time. And you have to understand, because this is the crux of the matter. There are some people, they study genuinely. There are some people, they work hard, but they are like, Nhyira, I can't remember anything. 99.9% of the time, it's because you are not studying at your peak time. It's because you are not knowing your study style. Some of you, maybe you need to read and write. Okay? You read and you write down. Maybe you need to read and record what your voice verbally and then be able to play that back and listen to it on your own. That is why you have smartphones and you have gadgets available. Take the recorder on your smartphone and read out and record what you are reading. And as you record it, you play it back when you're in the Trotsky going to work, when you're at the gym, even when you're cooking, the audio is still playing. You need to be able to emphasize consistently, use various things. Because you see, to be able to study and remember, you need to engage all your senses, or as many of your senses as possible. That is where your study style comes in. You have to engage as many of your senses as possible. You have to. That is why your sense of breath is very critical. The smell, okay, in the atmosphere where you are studying even have an impact on your mind, on your memory. It is very important. Your environment, what you are seeing around you, has an impact on your ability to recollect information. I'm not the one saying this. This is scientific, proven by experts. So if you're able to engage a lot of your senses, your sense of smell, your sense of sight, very critical. in what you are studying, it helps you to retain majority of the information that you are studying generally. That is the thing, because you pick a book, then you sit at the dining table, and then you are learning. Now the dining table, it's closely it's near your kitchen generally, so your wife is cooking, or maybe your mom is cooking, and the aroma from the kitchen is just coming to you like that whilst you are studying financial reporting, or studying public sector, or studying taxes. At that time, your brain cannot focus on IFRS 9. Your brain cannot focus on tax implication. All your brain will be like, let me eat, give me food, give me food. So you cannot focus. So if you are studying and you cannot remember what you're studying, you have to change your learning style. I don't know what is going to work best for you, but find out, read it and write it out. Read it, record yourself, regurgitate it. It's important when you study in the morning, before you go to bed in the evening, pick a piece of paper, pick your notepad, and write out the things that you studied. Find out how much of what you studied can you recollect, and then identify your peak time. Create it. This is all about your mindset. It's all about your mindset, because if you don't do that, then you cannot become successful. So if you want to pass your examination, you want to actually take your life to the next level, you want to become successful, you want to dump those excuses that are stopping you. And if you are studying and you cannot remember anything, it is important you change your learning style. It is important you identify your peak time. I always say this, especially to the ladies. There are a lot of hormonal changes that occurs in women, especially. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't occur also in men, though. But there are a lot of hormonal changes that occur in women. And those hormonal changes affect your peakness, your activeness, and your interest. And the ladies can attest to this fact. Because in your menstrual cycle, the week of your menstruation, your emotion is different, your mindset is different, your attitude is different. In your ovulation period, there is a different hormonal change. It's different. After that period, there is a different hormonal change. So at every stage, and the women go through 4 cycles. At each of these cycles, there are different hormones that are released, and these hormones influence your ability to be liking something, to be engaged in something, or to dislike something. So it is important you identify, when am I good? When am I at my best? So that when you identify when you are good, when you're at your best, then you can actually leverage on that and work yourself out. Then the next thing I want to talk to you about, still under the mindset and your ability to remember, is it is about the quality of the time, not the quantity of the time. Stay with me carefully. The quality of the time. What the heck do I mean by that? Some people sit behind the book and say, Nhyira, you don't know. I studied for 3 hours. Can you imagine that? I studied for 3 hours, but I have not been able to, but I don't remember anything. It's not about studying for 3 hours. If you are behind the book for 3 hours, but your data is on, you are getting social media notifications, you are opening them up, you are playing some disturbed music in the background. Now, there is a type of music that aids learning. Not all music aids learning. So you are playing some music that is contrary to your mind, your stability and your peakness. Then the 3 hours is actually a waste of time. So somebody can spend 20 minutes. And if that 20 minutes is a quality time, whatever you study sticks. Majority of it, okay? Maybe about 80%, you are able to remember. Just 20 minutes. So somebody can do just 20 minutes, and the person will be more productive than somebody who spends 1 hour, 30 minutes. So it's not about how long you study. It's about the quality of the studying that you are having. And this is very important. This is very important. So you want to pass your examination, you have to change your mindset. Changing your mindset means You look at your studying style, you identify your peak time. You have to think about the quality of the time and not how long you are studying. It's very important. The quality of the time and not how long you are studying. So for those of you who are saying, oh, Nhyira, yeah, maybe I'm old. I finished school 1933 and all of those things. No, that's just an excuse. Because you see, the human brain is like wine. It gets better when it ages. So really, it's advantage for you to be matured, because when you are matured, all other things being equal. Now, I didn't say to be old, to be matured. There is a difference between growth and maturity. So if you are matured, then it means you can control your emotions. It means you can control your physical environment. It means you can know what is working best for you. You can know your peak time. You can determine the quality of your time. That is maturity. So if you are matured, it means you will be great. But, if you're old and you're still, not matured, you're screwed. You're screwed. So that is the first thing I want you to really, really understand, really, really work on as you try to strategize yourself in this discussion. I'm seeing some chats coming in. Let me see if I can bring them up quickly in that regard. Let's see, what do we have? Laurie already got Lois, rather. Let's see, what do I have? Ketuk from South Sudan. That's great. So we have Malawi, we have Mozambique, we have South Sudan, then we have my Ghana people as well coming in that case. Sylvia said, good evening, please. If in a question they give deferred tax, what should I do with, I think you're saying, what should you do with that number? I don't get a context of the question, Sylvia, because if you are giving deferred tax in a question, I don't know. It depends on the context of the question and whether you can use it for something or not. So unfortunately, Sylvia, I cannot get a context of your question. Abdullah Mazuk said, good evening, sir. Good evening, Abdullah. Then Sylvia said, because to calculate deferred tax, we need a costless tax allowance and for the difference use of the tax rate. But what should I do with that number deferred tax that it's given to me in the question? Again, still, I don't get a context of your statement, because it is not always that you have to calculate the temporary difference, because sometimes the temporary difference will be given to you and then the deferred tax at the beginning will be given, that the deferred tax at the end will be given. So you just have to look at the movement in the deferred tax and structure yourself out. So per your statement, I cannot give anything there. Kwesi Melman said business reorganization. Okay, so that's part of the topics, so let me write this down. That is corporate reorganization and business restructuring. So reorganization. Organization. Okay. Noted. What else we got? Franklin said, I want to find out if the extra classes for the examination is going to be online only. I don't know what you mean by extra classes. All our lectures are online via Zoom. All our lectures are online via Zoom. So that is it. And we don't do intervention class. Our executive revision master class is strictly to our students. We don't open it to the public. I don't do intervention. I'm not the one to intervene for you for anything. So our executive revision master class is strictly for our students. We don't open it to the public. It's just strictly for our student, because it's a time we spend with our student to find out their challenges, their problems, and be able to really fine tune them and get them to go in there and pass the examination. What is that? Again, Matthew said, my topics are leases, IAS 12. So IAS 12, IFRS 15, and then IFRS 16. My ICAN is upcoming in May and I need help in these areas. Okay, the good news also is that we have a lot of videos already on the channel, on the YouTube channel here, on all these topics that you have mentioned. So just check the accounting standard playlist and you'll be able to see the lecture videos that we have done previously on these topics in that regard. The changes has not to be made. Will I be allowed to join the? I don't know what you're talking about on that one. Good evening from Nigeria. Thanks so much. I'm preparing for ICAN and I want to enroll in your course. I guess there is no much difference between ICAN, ICAG and ICAN. No, there are differences depending on the subject that you are writing. So you can send a message on WhatsApp depending on the subject you are writing, because taxation and public sector, strategic financial management, there are a couple of the subjects in ICAN that are different from ICAG. So you have to be careful. So it's not all subject that we allow the Nigerian students or people learning the ICAN to enroll in our program. So you can send a message on WhatsApp, let us know the subject that you are writing. My executive assistant will assist you in relation to that, so we know what you're doing. Joseph Ballo said, good evening, sir. Following live from WA in the Upper West region. Thank you. Lloyd said sales and leaseback and group reorganization. Okay. I think sales and leaseback, we have leases here, so we pay attention to that. Oh Lord, hear my cry. TV said 1943 pa. Yeah. That's when some people finish school and they are coming back to school. William Amponza said, great tips, Nhyira, blaze up. Thank you. Then he came back to say, great insights. Thank you. Graham Duku said, please, about taxation, about the new tax, example, computation of taxable income and tax liability. Just early this month, the tax laws was reviewed. So will the rate be applied in the upcoming examination? You have to know that when it comes to the ICA examination, new tax laws are examined 6 months after they become effective. So it is only the tax laws that are effective on January 2023, 1st January 2023, that will reflect in the July 2023 examination. The taxes that were passed, I think this month, I think so, which will be implemented from Monday, I think so, 2nd May. GRA has set, I think, 2nd May for the to begin the implementation of those. They will not come in the July examination, but they will be coming in the November examination. So the rule is the tax will be examined when after 6 months when they become effective. Does that make sense? So that is what you need to understand there, Graham, on the tax issue. Francis Osoyepoku said, good evening, trust you're doing well. Yes, I'm flourishing, Francis. Thanks for asking. Hexbon Nyamboni said, very relevant. Hexbon from Kenya. All right, so we have Kenyan also coming in. What else is this? Nancha Placeda said, hello, when is the next intake? Intake for what exactly? I don't know what you're talking about. Placeda. I don't know if I mentioned your name right. Forgive me if I'm butchering your name. You gotta forgive me. Graham said, my topic in principle of taxation is principles of taxation. Principles of taxation is not a topic. And the new tax rates will affect it. I don't get that, Graham. Principles of taxation is a subject, not a topic. So I don't know what the heck you mean by that. So give me some breakdown, then I will know. Juliet Shelley said, hi, Juliet, your student here. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. Always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us as well. Any other questions, put it in the chat for me. Topics you would want me to cover on the stream as well, put it on the chat, in the chat or the comment section for me. I'm going to be looking at all of them and adding it to my blog here. So that is the first thing I want you to understand. So I want you to promise yourself, sit down tonight. If you're somebody who studies and can really not recollect reading subjects, calculation subject, because some people, they are like, the IFRSs are my problem. When I read the standards, when I read a question, I don't know if this is IAS 16, IAS, whatever the heck. Yeah, it means you don't know. It means you don't know. So you have to change your learning style. So this evening, you got to sit down, think about yourself very well, and find out what exactly you need to do and what you have to change. Because, it is about changing what has to be changed generally to be able to ultimately pass the examination at the end of the day. Right. So once we fix our mindset in relation to that, the second thing we need to generally understand then is, hey, what are the key issues that I need to focus on? Okay. Key topics or areas that I need to focus on. If you're a follower of my work, I've said this over and over again. Listen to me carefully. Yes, in the exam hall, you can't answer all the questions. That's the truth of the matter. But you need to understand the structure of the syllabus and the key areas that you need to focus on to be able to pass the examination. That's it. That's it. For instance, if you are writing public sector accounting and finance, you know question one, what is going to be there. We know question one, we're going to be having conceptual framework coming up. We can have accounting basis. We can have accounting techniques coming in. We can have measurement basis coming in. That is question one. Whether I like it or not, that is what is going to be there. And it's about understanding the syllabus. Question one, whether I like it or not, that 20 marks will be coming from these areas. Two of these will be there. So understanding the structure of the syllabus and most importantly, knowing about them is going to be very crucial in that particular case. And question two, it's always going to be on financial statement preparation. But when it comes to financial statement preparation, there is a key topic you must understand, that is revenue management and expenditure control. Then you must understand some IPSAs, like IPSAs 17, like IPSAs 12. Okay? And other IPSAs. You have to understand this. You have to understand this. So it's not about, oh, yeah, I'm learning. No, it's not about studying. It's about understanding the scope of the syllabus and the structure of the exams and the key issues that you have to focus on. If you happen to do, let's say, financial reporting, you cannot answer all the questions on financial reporting in the exam hall. So what are the key areas that you can optimize yourself to be able to pass the examination? Definitely, evaluation of financial statement is going to be there. Ratios. Definitely, your accounting standards is going to be there. That is 40 marks. So you have to be strong on your accounting standards. You have to be strong on your accounting standard because that is 40 marks. Because you're going to have a single entity question and then the IFRS questions coming in, 40 marks. 40, it's going to be there. You cannot do anything about it. So your best bet is to be strong in it. That's the idea. That's the idea. So consolidation, yes, is going to be there, but that is question one. Always is going to be there. But you got to be careful because if you want to spend all your time on consolidation, then you're going to actually sabotage yourself generally at the end of the day. So it's about asking yourself, what are the areas of the syllabus that I can pick easy marks generally to be able to increase my chances of passing the examination? That is what you need to do. That is what you need to do. You are doing taxation, okay? Maybe principles of taxation. What are the key areas? Whether I like it or not, there is going to be question on corporate tax liabilities. But when it comes to corporate tax liabilities, there are key principles under corporate tax liabilities you have to understand, like the concept of thin capitalization when an entity borrows money from a non-resident entity, like treatment of financial cost and financial gain. Okay? You have to understand it, like treatment of other income. How do we treat it? Dividends. If an entity receives dividend, how do we treat it? Rent income. How is it treated? Interest. How is it treated? You must understand these principles to be able to pass the examination. To be able to pass. So it's not about, oh, I have finished with corporate tax liabilities. Oh, any question on corporate tax liabilities I can answer. The question is, do you know thin capitalization? Do you know about financial cost and financial gain? Do you know about how to treat other incomes? Heck, do you know about capital allowance and the various rules underlining capital allowance? Using the pooling system from class 1 to class 3 assets, how do we account for them? Class 4 and 5 assets, how do we account for them? When there are acquisition of assets for class 1 to class 3, how do we treat it? When there's acquisition of assets 3 and 4, 4 and 5, how do we treat them? It is important you understand these principles, because whether you like it or not, there is a 20 mark in the exam hall waiting for you on corporate tax liabilities. But it is not about the topic corporate tax liabilities, it's about the principles underlining corporate tax liabilities. That is how you increase your chances of passing the examination. So as a matter of fact, I always tell my students, this should be the first thing you do. So for those of you studying directly under my mentorship who are enrolled in our courses, you realize that we treated this in our introductory class. So for instance, this is financial reporting. We gave a breakdown on the financial reporting, what you need to know about, what you have to focus on. This is the breakdown on financial reporting, what you need to focus on, what you need to look out for generally at the end of the day. Public sector accounting and finance, we did the same thing. This is public sector accounting and finance. Question 1, you know what is going to be there. Question 2, you know what you have to pay attention to. Question 3, you know what you have to look at. Question 4, you know what to do. Question 5, you know what is going to be there. And that is understanding the structure of the syllabus and the key areas that you have to focus on to increase your chances of passing the examination. Advanced taxation, the same thing. The first session, what we did was to give you a breakdown of the syllabus and the key areas that you have to focus on. And we did this, and this is what we do in our main class. That's how we design our programs generally at the end of the day. So if you are going to pass the examination, you need to ensure, you need to know how exactly you intend to do this generally at the end of the day. And it's very, very important that you understand these key areas of the syllabus so you can then increase your chances of passing the examination. So your mindset is very critical. Know your study style. Identify your peak time. Have a quality study time, not the quantity. But remember, you need to understand the structure of the syllabus and the key areas that you have to focus on. Number 3, once you are able to know this, make sure you understand the basic principles. Make sure you understand the basic principles. It's very important. Understand the basic principles that underline whatever you are learning. Then from there, you can go and practice a lot of questions. Got to practice questions. Now, when you are solving the questions, solve the questions under time. Because in the exam hall, time is going to be your enemy. So solve it under time. It's very important. Now, many people spend their time solving 6 billion questions without understanding the principles. If you don't understand the principles, you can solve 7 billion questions and still go to the exam and fail. It is not just about the number of questions you solve. It is your ability to understand the basic principles generally. That is the idea about that. That is the basic issue that you have to understand. That is the thing. That is the thing. So change your mindset. Know the key areas. Understand the basic principles. Practice questions under time. Ultimately, there are 2 things that you will need if you want to succeed. Ultimately, 2 things. This one. Okay? And this one. You need to sacrifice and discipline yourself. I cannot overemphasize this one. You need to sacrifice and really discipline yourself. That's very, very important. That's very, very important. Because if you don't do it, nobody can do it for you. What does sacrifice generally mean? It means that you have to give up something. Maybe your sleep. Maybe some time with your wife. Some time with your husband. Some time with your children. You have to give up something. You cannot attend all weddings every weekend. You cannot spend all your time with your friends and expect to, at the same time, go to the exam hall and pass the exams. It cannot happen that way. You got to give up something. The question is, what are you willing to give up? Because the people who pass the examination are people who have given up something. So whilst you are partying, you are enjoying, you are hanging around and doing all of the things, somebody has locked himself in the room. Somebody has locked herself in a library, learning, solving questions. And these people will go to the exam hall and pass the exams. I'm not saying that don't party, or if you party, it's not good. I'm only saying that you got to give up something. But ultimately, you got to discipline yourself as well. You need to control yourself. You need to put yourself under order. You have to discipline yourself. If you don't sacrifice, if you don't give up something, if you don't discipline yourself, I can guarantee you, it will take you 17 years to become a chartered accountant. Hell, it will take you longer time to even become successful. And if you're not careful, you'll be frustrated. I've been doing this over a decade, and I've seen people drop out and go because they're like, yo, this thing is not for me. But I look at them and I see them and I'm like, yo, you're not really to give up anything. You are not disciplining yourself. It is not that there is a problem. It's not that there is a witch, a wizard, or some juju following you. It's because you're not willing to sacrifice anything and you're not willing to discipline yourself. And they stop the course, go do something else. Goodbye, it's good. Whether you come or you don't come, the institute will not collapse. It will still be there. But if you want to become successful, I dare you to begin to sacrifice. I'm not the one to tell you how to live your life, but you have to give up something. Because success is a life of sacrifice. Success is a life of discipline. So if you really want to become successful, you really want to do this in a record time, listen, you don't have to take 5 years to become a chartered accountant. You don't have to take 10 years to be a chartered accountant. You don't have to take 17 years to be a chartered accountant. Why? Then when you are graduating, you share your story. Oh, don't give up. I started this thing 10 years ago and I write, I wanted to. We don't like that story. We don't like that story. We want the story. I came in 1 year, I completed. Whoa, that's it. Because you see, time is valuable. If somebody did it in a year and you do it in 10 years, you're a failure. That's it. If somebody did it in a year and you did it in 10 years, you are a failure. That's one thing you need to understand. So it's about doing this thing as fast as possible so it doesn't host you. Because some of you, the professional course you're doing and what you are studying has become like a bondage. It has held you bound and you cannot do other things because you have not finished with this, because you're not seeing this well. But if you can do this as early as possible, take your hands off it, then you can focus on other aspects of your life that brings you happiness, that brings you joy, that makes you to become successful. That is life. So ultimately, that is what I want to share with you. I don't know what the heck you got to sacrifice, but you got to sacrifice. I don't know what the heck you got to discipline yourself in, but you have to discipline yourself. Some people will call you names. Some people will insult you. You may lose some friends. Who cares? Who cares? Because the wealthy people, the highly successful people, the high performance people don't have friends. And some people sheepishly say, if you don't come to my wedding, me too, I won't come to your wedding. Because of that, every Saturday, you are jumping from one wedding to another wedding because you want people to also come for your wedding. That is stupidity, in my opinion. That's my opinion. It's stupidity. Because I don't need to come to your wedding so you come to my wedding. This is not barter trade. Become successful, live a happy life, and have the best people around you. That's all you need. That's all you need. You don't need a crowd around you. No. Look at the wealthy people. Look at the successful people. They don't have a crowd around them. They have valuable people in their circle. That is it. So ultimately, I don't know, you got to sacrifice something and discipline yourself if you want to become successful. Any questions for me? Let me know in the comment section. Any questions for me real quick? Okay, let's see. I'm getting some chats also coming in. Timothy said, but I thought the syllabus will be revised after 2024. The syllabus revision work is in process. So it is going to be revised. So it's not after 2024. Financial reorganization, we have that. Leases, we have that. Step acquisition and disposal under consolidation. This is who? Amina. Okay. Now, Amina, we have a lot of these videos on the portal already. You can even start watching them. If you scroll down to the corporate reporting session, the consolidation masterclass, I think there are about 7 or 8 videos where we covered all of these things in detail. So before I even cover it on the stream here, since you are already enrolled in our program, you can check that and start watching that ahead of time in that case. I love the way you lecture reading strategy. It will help a lot. Thanks, sir, for being great. Always a pleasure. Tap. Ace Accounting and Analytics. Peterson from Nigeria. Thank you. When are you going to revise financial reporting for the forthcoming diet? It depends on the kind of topics that we get, like I said, because depending on the topics we have, we're going to be starting the discussion based on the topics we have. And so far, what we have received are all in respect to corporate reporting and financial reporting. So we have some standards in here like IAS 12, IFRS 15, IFRS 16, and then business reorganization, as well as, consolidation. And these are all financial reporting issues. So it's likely that from Monday, we'll be taking some of these things and dive deeper into them in that case. Can you pick up a revision on consolidated accounts? Okay. So we already have consolidation in the topic list here. So definitely we're going to be putting that into consideration or taking that into consideration when we are designing revision from Monday in that case. Okay. CITG and ICAG, which one should a non-business student start with? It's not about which one you should start with or which one you should start with. It's about what the heck is your goal. And for your information, before you can do CIT, you should have a diploma in some business-related issue. So you cannot just come from other course studies and then do that. They have a way of evaluating that. So it's not about which one for a non-business student. It's about what is your goal. CIT is purely about tax. So if your interest is about taxation, then CIT is the way to go. ICAG is broader because there you can become a chartered accountant. And when you are a chartered accountant, it means you can work in an audit firm, be an auditor. You can work in a company, be an internal auditor. And the list is endless. So CIT is purely about tax. So it's not about which one is or which one should a business student start, non-business student start with. It's about what is your goal. And that is something that they need to understand. All of these are highly paid industries or professions. So it's not about which one you should start with. It's about what is your interest. Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? What do you want to really focus on? What do you want to have authority in and be known for generally? So if you're able to then answer that question, then you can choose, okay, I want to do tax. I want to be a tax expert. All right, CIT, there you go. Or you want to be in the auditing field. You want to be an accountant, then you can go there as well in that particular case. So it depends on what you want to achieve, what you want to do, not really whether you're a non-business or a business student. All right, Aaron. So that is my take on that one there. Okay, so any other? Let's see, what do we have? Community of Believers Ministry Internet. Thanks for sharing. You are really doing a great work. Cheers. Always a pleasure. Thank you for your message and joining us on the stream as well. Okay, so that's it about that. I'm going to be wrapping up around here today. And on Monday, I'm going to be catching you on the stream. So in case you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell notification icon, or you can follow us as well on other social media platforms. Wherever the heck you are, I'm there. All right, wherever. Just search for Nhyira Premium. Nah, not necessarily that wherever you are, because I don't think I'm not on TikTok. No, Snapchat. But aside that, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you are, just search for Nhyira Premium. You're gonna find me anyway, anyhow. And I'm going to be coming your way. So stay connected. Details about our meeting will be posted over the weekend. So on Monday, you know exactly what we are going to be doing. I think Monday is a holiday, so we're going to be having some interesting time together and starting with a discussion and looking at the various things that we can go through in the next 8 weeks that we have available to prepare us to pass the examination. So thank you very much for joining the class. Thank you, those of you with a thumbs up on the video. Ejekum Johnson, Chris Colombo, Evans, Benali, Salom, Francis, Labi Benjamin, Community of Believers Ministry. Thank you very much for the thumbs up and the sharing, as well as the people who did it on YouTube as well. I'm really grateful, and thank you for taking time to really help us in that. Let me take this comment. Please, which is easier to grab and do better in the exam between IAS 33? Oh, Jesus Christ. Thank you. ACE, accounting and analytics. I don't know the context of what you're trying to say here, which is easier to grab. You see, it's not about what is easier. It's about what do you understand. Sounds good? So it's not about what is easier. IAS 33 has its own headache. Especially if you're dealing with diluted earnings per share, it has its own headache. Because even if you're dealing with a basic earnings per share, if we are dealing with right issue, bonus fraction is going to come to town. If you're dealing with bonus issue, bonus fraction is going to come to town. Then you come to diluted earnings per share. There's also a headache there. So it's not about what is easier or better to grab in the exam hall. It is about your understanding. If you understand the basic principles, you're going to find everything easier in the exam hall. That's my opinion. So there's no choice like what is easier, what is hard, or what is complex, or what is difficult. Each of them, they are in their own class. Financial instrument is in its own world. If you understand the basic principles under financial instrument, it's very easy. Very, very easy, because there are principles you must understand. And that is what I spoke about, the basic principles, understanding the basic principles. Because if you understand the basic principles, financial instrument, just like that. Just like that. And if you understand the basic principle, earnings per share, IAS 33, it's easy. So it's not about complexity. None of it is difficult. They are all difficult in their own right. They are all difficult in their own right. So there is no pick and choose, in my opinion, when it comes to dealing with these things. All right. ACE, accounting and analytics. I believe that I'm able to provide you with some answers in that particular case. So none of it is complex. They are all in their own class. If you understand that, you'll be able to know what you must do in that regard. Please include financial instrument in the revision class. Thanks and God bless you. Okay, financial instrument. Do we have that? IFRS 9. Okay, so it means that corporate reporting and financial reporting students have actually taken over the class. So it means we have no issue about tax. We have no issues about public sector. We have no topics coming in for, how do we call it? What are the other subjects? Management, accounting, strategic case study. Okay, that's fine. We're going to stick with what we have. And on Monday, I'm going to be coming. Let's stay connected over the weekend. We're going to be posting details about what we're going to be covering on Monday on our social media platforms. So you'll be able to get a notification and prepare for that session on Monday at 4:30 p.m. GMT with me. Thank you very much for watching, and really grateful that you took time to join us. And we hope that we'll be able to assist you in the next few weeks that we have available as much as we could, so you can really put yourself in the position to pass the examination. Now, in case you really want to get access to all our courses catalog, get access to our live question kit, join our live Zoom sessions, participate in our performance evaluation test, mock session, executive revision masterclass, and enjoy the full program, you can consider to enroll directly on our website. Just visit NhyiraPremium.com, or you can also download the mobile application on the Google Play Store or the App Store to be able to get access to our content as well. So you can download the mobile application on the Google Play Store or the App Store, Nhyira Premium, and also get an experience in that case. I think it's 500 Ghana cedis per paper, and you'll be able to get access to the full program to study directly under my mentorship, so I can really assist you to prepare well for the examination and pass the exams. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. It's a long weekend. Have a great weekend. Chill out. But most importantly, make sure you make some time to study and work on yourself as well. It's very important. Stay safe, and I'll catch you on Monday. Bye-bye.